The Law and You, a look at laws in St. Vincent and the Grenadines which affect our daily lives. The Law and You, presented by lawyer panel P.R Campbell QC and brought to you on SVG-TV as a public service.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, greetings. Welcome to another presentation in this public service nation building series, The Law and You. This is program number 945, coming to you on Monday the 12th of August, 2019. On this program, I will speak to you on the topic, Emancipation from what? But before getting into the topic, a few preliminary comments, beginning as usual with condolences to all families which have suffered recent bereavements. And in that connection, let me send condolences first to the family of the late Miss Patrice Reddock, who was a stalwart member of the New Democratic Party and one of St. Vincent's leading female entrepreneurs, laid to rest last week. Also, condolences to the immediate family and wider relatives of the late Sir Vincent Beach. Condolences to the members of his party and to all the people whom he served and knew full well. He would be given a state funeral, I understand, next week, Monday. Condolences to the family of Brother Eli King of Belmont, a member of my congregation, whom we laid to rest yesterday afternoon at Belmont, and a special congratulations to his son, young Brother Jeremiah King, who delivered the sermon at the funeral service. And finally, condolences to the family of the late Mrs. Estelina Jocelyn of Rockies, a lady I've known since about 1960 or thereabouts, when we went to live in Rockies, a stalwart member of the Rockies community, who would be laid to rest next week, Friday, on the stand. Excuse me. On Friday, the 2nd of August, the newspaper ran this headline: Woman alleges police brutality. The story said a Vincentian woman residing in Canada claims that she was brutalized while at a police station in St. Vincent and the Grenadines recently. And then this morning, I saw in Eyewitness News another headline story: police allegedly beat handcuffed man, resulting in injuries. I've spoken time and time again about these allegations of police brutality, but I took it upon myself this morning to contact someone in high authority, and I've been assured that these two allegations will be thoroughly investigated. Police must understand, and you're only speaking about a very small handful of the police, because the bulk of policemen and women are law-abiding, hard-working officers. But there is a handful of rogues who believe in manhandling people in custody, and they must be investigated, and when found, rooted out and charged. When they are found guilty of brutality, they must face the penalty in the courts. It isn't enough for them to just get disciplinary penalties in the police station, like, leave withdrawn and this sort of thing. Police have no right to beat people. unless they're acting purely in self-defense or in an attempt to restrain an unruly person whom they have either taken into custody or are attempting to take into custody. Police have no right to beat people. And whenever there are allegations, and I'm not saying every allegation of brutality would be true, but whenever there are allegations and they're investigated and they are found to be true, the offenders must be dealt with in a stern manner to bring home to all and sundry that the beating and brutalizing of persons in custody cannot be tolerated in any society. And I was glad to be assured that these allegations, among other recent allegations, would be properly investigated. Next, I am appalled at recent evidence of serious lapses by senior civil servants in various ministries. I am referring to the practice, which is now very widespread, of the public business coming to a halt whenever a senior office holder is away from his or her desk for any appreciable length of time. And I've now become totally fed up of trying to get something done by a senior public officer only to hear that the person is on vacation and I have to wait until they come back to work. As if when they go on vacation, the public business comes to a standstill. That is simply not good enough. A senior person goes on vacation or is absent from the state or takes a short course, the person next in line must be authorized to do that person's work. Some time ago, a functionary in the valuation department went off on leave or was sent on leave, and nobody did his job till he came back. People's deeds being held up. And these days, we appear to have more and more trained in inverted commas, persons in the higher echelons of the public service. But it seems that less and less work is being done. And I, for one, have complained about the number of meetings that senior public services are required to attend. Seminars, workshops, conferences. Some people like to spend the whole tenure attending meetings and conferences and seminars and are not at their desks to do the public business. And because they're at a seminar, nobody else is authorized to do their work because they're still on the job and still in the state. And you have to wait because you call for so-and-so, PS or head of department or deputy head of department. Oh, he's in a meeting or she is in a meeting. When are you expecting them back? I don't know. And you can't get things done, many of which are urgent. And it is so frustrating nowadays. So let us hope the authorities would open bright eyes, especially on the habitual offenders, because they get paid by the month, and they get paid by checks. Whether they work or not, whether they are productive or not, they get paid month by month. And I'm saying those who are getting paid to serve the public must work for that pay. Excuse me again. I mean, these things just get you mad. Finally, for preliminaries, and on a happier note, I would like first of all to welcome back to St. Vincent and the Grenadines Apostle Dr. Cecil George Riley, the head of the Freedom Hall Church of God in Reeves Level, Cedars, who has headed a large team for the August Crusade or convention. Welcome also to First Lady, Evangelist, Minister Eleanor Riley, and all the members of the team. But I want to congratulate the two brothers who were ordained last night at Reeves Level. I refer to the Reverend Dave Charles and the Reverend Dwayne Hayward. Both brothers have been members of the Freedom Hall Church of God at Reeves Level since it started some 17 years ago. And they were fittingly ordained and consecrated yesterday as elders, reverends, pastors. The three titles are used interchangeably. So my congratulations to the brothers, and of course I would pledge my full support to you, especially with the young people at that church. And to those in Spring Village, the convention is coming on Wednesday night, as usual, because for the last few years, Apostle Riley has been going to Spring Village on the Wednesday of Convention Week to fellowship with them, because the Spring Village brethren religiously travel to Cedars for the conventions. Now I turn to the topic for the night. Emancipation from what? I will do this topic in two parts. Part one would be tonight, and by the blessing of God, part two will come next week, Monday night, DV. I start by saying that I have heard and read a lot of opinion in recent days criticizing the decision to install the new Governor General on Emancipation Day. Some people appear to have taken strong exception and have written and have spoken their objection. And I was surprised at some of what I've seen written by persons whose views I normally treat very seriously and with great respect. But insofar as these are matters of opinion, my opinion differs from those who say that it was wrong to install the new Governor General on Emancipation Day. I say that because it was clear to me that whatever sentiments the people of this country had concerning emancipation, the majority of the electorate of this country on the 25th of November 2009 practically abolished emancipation when they rejected the attempt, among other things, to remove the monarchy from the headship of state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and voted in no uncertain terms to keep Her Majesty the Queen. The choice was given. A new constitution was proposed, albeit repeating many of the clauses of the old constitution, but bringing in a number of new institutions, particularly attempting to move us away from the Queen to a republican form of government where we would have been headed as head of state by a homegrown president. The people said, we want to keep the Queen. And to me, that was a rejection of emancipation. The people refused to be liberated from colonialism. And when they voted to keep the existing constitution instead of the new one we were proposing, then to me, the people signaled by their majority that they like it so, in the words of King Nelson. Because the present constitution makes it clear where we stand with regard to the monarchy. And I was surprised that distinguished persons could write in the newspaper doubting that Queen Elizabeth II is the Queen of St. Vincent and Grenadines. Well, this is what the existing constitution says. First of all, the existing constitution was given to us by letters patent from the Queen Mother and the Prince of Wales. So when we got our independence constitution on the 27th of October 1979, we got it by virtue of a letters patent signed at the court of King St. James in London on the 26th of July 1979. That's when the letters patent was signed, saying that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen Mother, and His Royal Highness the Prince Charles, Prince of Wales, conferred our new constitution on us. And we got the instruments on the 27th of October 2009. Now, in our constitution, the existing constitution, this is what it says in clause 19. Quote, there shall be a Governor General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who shall be appointed by Her Majesty, and shall hold office during Her Majesty's pleasure, and who shall be Her Majesty's representative in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And if we turn over to section 23 of the Constitution, it says, there shall be a Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which shall consist of Her Majesty and a House of Assembly. That is our Parliament. And if you go to any session of Parliament, at the beginning of the session, you will see a gentleman with a shiny metal object on one of his shoulders. He comes to the entrance of the chamber and he shouts, Mr. Speaker, and all rise. And he proceeds with this shiny object on his shoulder to enter the chamber, followed by the Honorable Speaker. That object carried by the Sergeant at Arms is called a mace. It is in the form of a crown, and that mace signifies the presence of Her Majesty in the chamber. The Sergeant at Arms takes it from his shoulder, puts it in its cradle, and then the Honorable Speaker goes up to sit on his seat to preside. There have been some dramatic moments in the history of the Parliament. There was a time when one member in the opposition threatened to throw the mace out of the chamber. He didn't go through the threat, but if he had done so, all proceedings would have had to come to a standstill, because according to the traditions of Parliament, the House cannot sit unless the authority of Her Majesty is present in the form of the mace. That is what is meant by saying our Parliament consists of the Queen and the House of Assembly. The Queen is symbolized by the metal object carried by the Sergeant at Arms. And then if we turn to section 50 of our Constitution, we would read, 1, the executive authority of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is vested in Her Majesty. So that it is idle to pretend that we are not part of Her Majesty's dominion. She is Queen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Queen Elizabeth II of Windsor, the House of Windsor, and of the United Kingdom, is also Queen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I don't know how anyone who has access to our Constitution could say otherwise. And we had the chance to change that, because we were given a choice on the 25th of November 2009 of a new instrument that would have said in its section 49, quote, there shall be an office of President of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The President shall be the head of state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is what was proposed. And in section 102, subsection 1 of the proposed Constitution, this is what it stated. The executive authority of St. Vincent and the Grenadines shall be vested in the President, who by section 49 of this Constitution shall be the head of state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we had a chance to change the monarchy and replace the monarchy with a homegrown president. We refused. We said, we like it so. We want to keep the monarchy of Queen Elizabeth II. So what are we fretting that her representative was sworn in on Emancipation Day? What is so sacred about Emancipation Day after we reject the concept of getting rid of colonialism in November 2009? And it wasn't a close decision. I have the figures here with me. Those who voted no in the referendum amounted to 29,167 votes. Those who voted yes, 22,646. So 43.7% of the people voted yes. 55.29% of the people voted no, we want to keep Queen Elizabeth as our queen. And those of us who fought for the new constitution had to accept that that was the will of the majority. The people wanted to keep Queen Elizabeth. The people didn't want to leave colonialism alone. So what are people telling me now? What is the fretting about in emancipation? I will continue next week because I don't understand. We have a queen. We voted to keep the queen. So it doesn't matter what day the Queen's representative is sworn in. What is important is that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II is our Queen. Because that is what the people said they wanted. I will continue next week, Monday Divi. So that is all from now, from this edition of The Law and You. I look forward to being of further service to you next week, Monday Divi, for another presentation of this public service nation building series, The Law and You. Do have a pleasant week, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and may the good Lord continue to bless us all.
The Law and You, a look at laws in St. Vincent and the Grenadines which affect our daily lives. The Law and You, presented by lawyer panel R. Campbell QC and brought to you on SVG-TV as a public service.